Hey guys, Wandering Beast here. As we continue on with our sort of series of upgrades to 7.3, one of the biggest ones I decided to bite the bullet last year was to replace the high pressure oil pump, HPOP pump, on the truck. Didn't have any issues with it, had no reason to think that I had an issue with it, but I knew the lines needed replaced because they're known for blowing. So when I reached out to everyone and said, hey, what should I use? There's a couple options out there on the market. Everyone said, Dieselsite adrenaline pump, hands down. I'm not running crazy pressures. I'm not building race trucks. I want good, reliable pulling power. It's going to serve me well for years to come. So honestly, this part of the video is going to be fairly boring. The adrenaline pump I've honestly really liked. Again, if you flash back to last November, we did all of our upgrades together, from the turbos to the lines to this and that. All the parts happened all at once. So when it fired back up, I couldn't tell you which specific part or upgrade would benefit the best. It's not like I did the turbo and drove it for a month, came back, did the boots, drove it for a month, etc. So that's where it's hard for me to sort of dial specifically in there. Between, I would say, the KC turbo rebuild that I did on the stock turbo and the adrenaline pump, the biggest thing I noticed was the just linear pull that it now had. So when I would go up hills or past anybody, the more gas I gave it, the more she would pull. The more gas I gave it, the more she would pull. And I would say previous to this, I would force it out of overdrive. If I had a hill coming up, if I needed to pass somebody, I'd reach up on the shifter, I'd take it out of overdrive, I'd force the transmission to downshift and give it hell to get up that hill to get around somebody. And that's the biggest difference I noticed with the adrenaline pump. It's really kind of that dyno seat register, right? Like I have a hard time telling you exactly that it was the adrenaline pump, but I've been very happy with it. No issues at all with the Dieselsite adrenaline pump. Now saying that, you do send your old one back, so there's a bit of a core charge. It's not cheap, but I'm hoping for an extremely long longevity use out of this and very reliable performance. It has been a year since we put that on. I've had zero issues with that. This is where we get into the sad part of the video. Why it's probably called something fail video. Is I decided while I'm in there, instead of going to Riff Raff or another Dieselsite, website and order HPOP lines, I'll just get the ones that they prefer and they use and they have on their website. So I ordered the adrenaline HPOP high pressure oil pump and I ordered their lines. Now the newer lines, if you think about it, it's high pressure oil. It's basically a hydraulic line. And so what a lot of the companies are doing is the fittings that come off the heads, they're just tapping those down. They've got an O-ring on them and they're creating basically a collar to allow a high pressure hydraulic line to fit onto that. No problem. It's absolutely beautiful. They're just slightly flexible. They're pretty burly. Honestly, I think they'll last the life of the truck. Got them on there. Once we got it all sorted with the no start video, I'll put that up there as well. It was a bad IPR. We were on our way and I've been enjoying it ever since. Now, if you know me, we do a lot of our winter adventures for our family in the winter. Well, that's what they're called, winter adventures, because I'm a wildland firefighter. My summers are booked for work. I'm always gone. So we don't get out in the summer as much. We use the winter to do our family adventures. We saw a chance to take a long weekend in early February, and we decided to head to the coast. Up over the mountains we go, through the snow. We get to the coast. I pull into the little parking lot with the beach access. I've got oil coming from somewhere. Absolutely gutted. And as somebody who is the provider for the family, I know it's not upsetting them, but it absolutely ruined my weekend. I couldn't believe that all this time and money and effort getting this 7.3 Power Stroke back on the road better than ever, and the first family trip I take it on, it starts leaking. So they go enjoy the beach. I'm cursing up a storm. Frustrated all to get out. I pulled the doghouse out. If you don't know, my 7.3 Power Stroke on the Adventure Bus is a van body. Pull the doghouse out and I'm just, why? Where is this coming from? Oil just pouring out. Well, it turns out it's coming from the Dieselsite HPOP lines. Not from the lines specifically themselves, but from the conversion from the head and that O-ring that's on there. So frustrating. So I Google it, Dieselsite, they have an emergency number. This is the one shining star that I will give Dieselsite, is they have an emergency number. Somebody can be contacted at any point. This was like a Sunday or a Saturday. Somebody answered and they started giving me advice. Look, I'm at the Oregon coast. There's not Ford dealerships anywhere. We've got a couple little mom and pop auto parts, and he tells me, go get a number 5 O-ring. Make sure it is Viton. And this is where the story gets strange. Viton is what you need for oil and gas and everything else so it doesn't eat itself up and destroy itself. If you use rubber, it will eventually dissolve. Okay, well, that didn't happen. Couldn't find it anywhere. Found some that were sort of close. Crank it down, adding oil. Try not to drive it as much as possible. Kind of ruins the weekend family trip, to be honest. Having issues with it. Not sure if I'm going to have to tow it the 700 miles back home. Or to the nearest dealership that can handle that. Or order something, rent a car, get the family home because they've got to work. I don't know. It's all up in the air. I'm frustrated. Can't find what I need. Small ocean coast town doesn't have exactly what I need. We finish the weekend. I make sure to check it. I'm leaking oil everywhere. I get back home. Hey guys, Wandering Beast here, and unfortunately I'm coming to you from a very cold and chilly garage. It's even snowing right now. Today's high is, I believe, 7 degrees. It was -7 last night, so the engine that I'm working on right now is still feels like -7. It hurts to work on it. I've got a hand warming station set up here in the garage, so I'm just trying to take breaks, drink lots of coffee. And yesterday I pulled off the back one, which is easiest to get to on the passenger side head. Pulled it off, and everywhere I went to try to find an O-ring, they immediately were like, well, this isn't Viton, this is rubber. And I'll put in some pictures here. Are you sure you need Viton? I was like, yeah, he said I needed it. So why is there rubber on this one? This happened 2 or 3 times. I went to my local farm supply hydraulic store. He didn't have a number 5 O-ring, but he said the same thing. This is a rubber O-ring. Are you sure you need Viton? I'm like, that's what I was told, and I think that's why this one failed. So unfortunately, Monday comes, I get a hold of the company.
Yeah. You can get a few number 6s. Because like I said, most of those cross bore plugs and stuff that's in the pump, they're number 6s anyway. And especially that one that comes, it's like in a 90-degree angle to the outlet, to the 2 outlet lines. Yeah. That one is a very common one to leak. So I would get a few extra number 6s just in case.
At no point were they ever like, here, let's send these out and make this right. We're so sorry. At no point were they, let me get your order number. Let's find out what batch that is and make sure that this is corrected. And so that other people aren't buying this product and having this issue. At no point had that happened. I have a 7-minute phone conversation that I recorded the guy today because I wanted to make sure is, once I get the lines on the motor, what about the lines that go into the HPOP? Are those the same O-ring? Well, 1, I was just now told it is a different size O-ring. 2, he's pretty sure they're Viton. Everything internally in the pump will be Viton because that is made there in their local shop. However, the lines are outsourced apparently. They kept telling me I need to make sure it's a Ford part. It has to be Viton. Well, their stuff wasn't, and at no point did they ever try to correct it. Part of the issue I wanted to call today is I looked on their website, and they do have an HPOP and IPR O-ring set as a replacement set, and I would love to get that in the truck, in the toolbox, so that if something happens in the middle of the backcountry, I can take the time, pull it apart, and make it right and get out of the backcountry. Or Canada, or the Yukon, or wherever we're heading here in the next couple of years. Mexico, Baja, you name it. I want to have the parts available on my truck. O-rings don't weigh a lot, so it's not like I'm carrying an extra starter, right? It's just going to make me feel better. But I was just told this is a different O-ring, so there's no point in me pulling these off. I'm going to try to get the replacements here, and if some other reason I need to pull into there, I will replace them. Right now, I don't think I'm going to spend the time when I'm absolutely just painfully freezing my tail off trying to get this done here. So we're going to get that replaced. I'll get it started back up, and then I'm going to start looking for other issues down the road. But unfortunately, this is kind of where we're at with the HPOP lines from Dieselsite. So here goes my trust level. Way plummeted down. is they're always willing to answer the phone, but not one time did Dieselsite say they're sorry. Not one time did they offer to send me out the right part. They were happy to sell me an entire kit, sell me more O-rings, tell me where to go buy them. None of this offered, hey, sorry, those lines are made and produced at a different factory. It looks like their quality control is crap. They gave you rubber O-rings and left you stranded, practically, right? So I'm super frustrated with them. Part of that conversation, I don't know how much I'll put in here, was with that guy, and he was trying to tell me, those are leaking. What else is going to leak? What else did you not use the right O-rings on? Oh, he guaranteed the adrenaline pump. Totally different factory. Those are only Viton. Okay, well, what about these crappy ones, the lines he gave me? So I still don't know if I trust it fully. It's always going to be in the back of my mind. I now have a lot of spares of number 5 and number 6 O-rings from Ford that I know are Viton. I do have a hydraulic shop that I've grabbed some extras with, but super frustrating with all that money and everything staying. And I realize if you guys are watching this video and you're 7.3 Power Stroke guy, you're going to go through some of this too. It can be extremely frustrating. I guess my biggest issue, one, the shining star was that they had an emergency number. They were always willing to talk to you and talk you through it and try to help you. But damn it, customer service, you better be damned to sell me a brand new one. Send me at least an O-ring kit or something to rectify this situation. Not go tell me where to buy it. I realize that might get me out of the woods or get me back home. That's not okay, and I'm not real thrilled with it. I still may bite the bullet and just buy an entirely different kit and go throw that in before we go to Baja this spring, because I do not want to be climbing through that doghouse, replacing those lines, leaking oil everywhere in the middle of Mexico. So that's where we're at, guys. Wander Beast signing off. Sorry, it's kind of a positive and a negative, and I just want to warn you guys of what could happen. And yeah, I probably won't be buying anything else from Dieselsite. I hope my adrenaline pop, HPOP, lasts for many, many years, and I never have to call them again. So that's where we're at, guys. Take care. We'll see you down the road.
Thanks for all the love and support. You guys are amazing. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow the adventure on social media, and we'll see you on the road.